able to sort of make you laugh and cry within the one verse. And I'm talking, John Prine, Nick Cave, Dylan does it,
1978, Dawn of the Dead, where the zombies overtake the world.
And what is it about the zombies? I've never seen Dawn of the Dead, Matt. What is it about the zombies overtaking the world that thrills you or attracts you?
You know what it is? It's pretty much like the world being turned on its head. How would people act if the bodies of the recently deceased come back to life and attack the humans? It's just pretty much it's like a what if. Could it happen? It just takes you down like a road. What happens if it'll happen?
Matt, I would say that is a nightmare scenario if the bodies of the dead do rise in the middle of a housing crisis, because we will have nowhere to put them. And certainly based on the COVID report that's just been handed down, we know that the state government would mishandle any reaction or action plan when it came to dealing with a zombie plague. They didn't do too well with COVID. I'm certainly not backing them in against an army of the undead.
Without any political commentary at play, Tony, I mean, one of the things that makes me think about this topic is that in some ways, Matt used the phrase, the world turned on its head.
Yes.
Our world has been turned on its head. The real world has been turned on its head in so many ways. So it fascinates me that people go looking for more, death, destruction, what ifs, when already our reality in some ways looks kind of grim.
When you look at a horror movie, there would be certain themes. There's certain, this whole idea of a jump scare, which I think is a really amazing idea. But there are certain themes and emotional beats that producers of these films need to hit, and they're appealing to what sort of fears within us.
Well, can we overcome our own fears? So they hold a mirror up to us, and whether we're whatever kind of content we're watching, often we're putting ourselves in the place. So I know, having done a lot of TV in my time, that often television relies on what we call jeopardy. And jeopardy is that sense that something may go wrong, may go wrong, may go wrong.
Well, something has to be at stake.
Yeah, there has to be something at stake. And it also makes me think about the hero's journey, which is a psychological framework that suggests we're all on the hero's journey in some way of questioning ourselves, feeling threat, and then redeeming ourselves in some way. And I think
by overcoming an obstacle.
Exactly. And I think that's what we see often in horror movies. There's also the sense that this one's not so appealing, but the research tells us that sometimes we experience some sort of satisfaction in other people's misfortunes.
Schadenfreude.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's called.
Well, that's a great thing that we could discuss next week.
Schadenfreude.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah.
Pencil it in. And because it's a German word, you will be on time. Thank you for that, Sabina Reid, psychologist and social commentator.
Great to see you, Tony, and happy Halloween for tomorrow.
Indeed. And I'll be talking about whether or not a straitjacket is an appropriate costume to wear with a mental health advocate after 2 o'clock. Back in a moment, 133 693 if you'd like to call the program. It's 5 minutes to 1.
Traffic. Visit the win page at 3aw.com.au and enter our latest competitions.
Hello, it's Caroline from Transport Victoria. There's a sluggish stretch on Peninsula Link Portsea bound due to a collision between Cranbourne, Frankston Road and Golf Links Road. A car's gone up the embankment. The left lane's been closed off. Emergency services are there at the moment. You can slip past in the right lane. And traffic lights will be temporarily switched off today at the intersection of Mount Dandenong Tourist and Leith Roads and Montrose for upgrade work. There'll be lane closures and restrictions in place. Follow directions of traffic management.
How can you make Melbourne's #1 station sound even better? Download the 3AW app to your smartphone or stream on your PC. 3aw.com.au.
Drive.
So let me be very clear. When it comes to the government and policy making, the time for talking is over.
Jackie Felding.
Sure, we as the general public can talk about it, and we should. But now the leaders of this country need to stand up, and they need to put proper policy on the table, to put real money on the table. I, for one, want my taxes to go to fighting domestic violence. For me, that is money well spent.
Drive. 3AW.
Because up and down prices, so are we. At Greens the Chemist, We don't take your wallet on a roller coaster ride. We just do low prices every day. For always low prices you can always count on, better go to Bling's the Chemist.
At Balmoral Lifestyle Village, you'll feel right at home. Come and join Balmoral's Open Day Tuesday, November 12. Discover a friendly community, first-class facilities, and see the benefits of maintenance-free living in your own private landscaped oasis. Balmoral Lifestyle Village Open Day, Tuesday, November 12 from 2 till 4. Ridge Road, Wanturna South. Call 9800 1333. Balmoral, for a life without compromise.
Hear that? That's the sound of more than 2 million Aussies who've shaken the weight with the Man Shake. So why does it work for so many blokes? It's simple. Just 2 shakes a day, then dinner as normal. Affordable from $2.50 per meal. The shakes are tasty and filling. And you can lose the beer gut without losing all the beers. So try Australia's #1 weight loss shake for men. The Man Shake. Weight loss that works. Start now at themanshake.com.au. What'd you do?
I'm a thief. Game of Thrones Sophie Turner stars in Stan's brand new drama series, Joan. I'm in cash to set myself up.
What women want and what they get. 2 different things.
Based on the true story of a single mother turned notorious jewel thief.
I won't let a man boss me around. If you rip me off, I'll kill you.
Dive into Britain's criminal underworld.
Job satisfaction isn't a crime.
The brand new series, Joan, now streaming only on Stan.
I'll be riding short.
The Subaru October demonstrator event is now on, and your next adventure is within reach, with a $750 fuel card free across selected demonstrator models. Subaru, for a world discovered. T's and C's apply.
There's one thing for certain when you choose to extend your home with Super Group Home Extensions, and that's certainty. Oh yes, at Super Group, we give you the certainty of a fixed price contract and completion date guarantee. And no surprises, other than the result being better than you could ever imagine. Super Group Home Extensions, extending houses, creating homes for 50 years. Call 9458 1666 or visit supergroup.com.au. That's super with an A. CDBU 52357.
Afternoons on 3AW for Morgan's IGA, celebrating 53 years with specials like Steagall's Chicken Maryland, $3.99 per kilo. Visit morgansiga.com.au.
A priceless instrument panel from a Beatles recording studio was found in a skip going up for sale. What have you found in a skip? What trash has become your treasure? That's what Lucy Loken is talking about after the news.
Listen to Breakfast with Ross and Russell from 5:30 weekdays on 3AW. Melbourne, 3AW, 693.
17 degrees in Melbourne, a shower or two tomorrow, a top of 19. It's 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Tony Tardio. Students have returned to Auburn South Primary School a day after a horror crash which police have described as a tragic accident. Police have questioned and released the driver of the car that crashed into the school grounds in Hawthorne East yesterday afternoon, killing 11-year-old Jack Davey and injuring 4 of his classmates. The school principal, Marcus Wicker, says the accident can only be described as a complete tragedy.
The response from our local community has been overwhelming, and I extend my heartfelt thanks to everyone who has reached out with such generous offers of support. This school community is so wonderful and strong, and together we will get through this.
Premier Jacinta Allen says the impact of the tragedy will be felt for a long time.
It's important that we all show just a little bit of extra care and support on what is a really tough day for our state.
Health Minister Mary-Ann Thomas claims saving lives and livelihoods was the focus of the Victorian government during the pandemic. A federal inquiry has found Victoria's approach to restrictions was haphazard, poorly explained, and without adequate consideration of mental health, particularly among young people and children. The minister says she's yet to examine the findings and recommendations, but maintains the state government relied on the advice of health experts to inform its response.
In order to protect the lives and livelihoods of all Victorians.
Family called emergency services after discovering her body on Monday morning. During a brief hearing today, Mr McCallum's lawyer said her client wasn't in the court dock because he was being treated for health complications. Further details of the alleged offending were not read out to the court. Mr McAuliffe was remanded in custody with the case to return to court in March.
A Victorian coroner is warning of the dangers of consuming wild mushrooms after an elderly Bayswater woman died after eating them earlier this year. Ruth Brooke reports. In late May this year, Loretta Maria Del Rossi died at Eastern Health Montana 1 week after consuming a meal made with mushrooms picked from her own garden. She was 98. In the findings released by Coroner Judge John Kane, he said Mrs. Del Rossi died from multi-organ failure due to poisoning from the toxin found in lethal death caps and yellow staining mushrooms. Mrs. Del Rossi had prepared the meal for herself and her adult son, who was also hospitalized but survived. Judge Kane is calling for improved public awareness about the dangers of consuming wild mushrooms. Victoria's former Chief Health Officer, Brett Sutton, says he thinks Australia needs to have more discussions about misinformation in the wake of the COVID pandemic. Mr Sutton says he broadly agrees with the federal government review into Australia's COVID-19 response, which found while there were some successes, the public's trust was ultimately damaged by poor communication in justifying health measures. He's told ABC Radio Melbourne he often tried to speak to the nuance and complexity of the situation, but sometimes that wasn't captured in a soundbite.
All of this gets attacked, and we're in a new world where misinformation, disinformation, social media, philosophical and political polarisation are all at play that makes the job tougher.
Overseas, the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, has nominated cost of living as a major priority if elected president next week. Global Affairs Editor John Lyons is in Washington.
In one of her final rallies, Ms Harris emphasised the importance of economic management. While opinion polls show Ms Harris locked in a 50-50 battle with Donald Trump, the same polls consistently place Mr Trump ahead as a better economic manager. Ms Harris told a Washington rally that she would cut taxes for middle and working class Americans and enact a federal law to outlaw price gouging of groceries. John Lyons, ABC News, Washington.
To the weather now, there's a strong wind warning for the East Gippsland coast. For the state, partly cloudy in the south, clearing to a mild and mostly sunny afternoon. Dry,
prepare to
hot
turn
and
left.
Sunny in the north. There's a high fire danger in the Mallee and Wimmera. On the bays, winds south to southwesterly 10 to 15 knots, seas below 1 metre. For Melbourne, partly cloudy this afternoon and a top of 21 degrees. Tomorrow, a shower or two and 19 degrees. Friday, cloudy and 17 degrees. Saturday, mostly sunny, 26 degrees. Sunday, a shower or two and 29 degrees. Right now, it's 17 degrees. ABC News.
On the ABC Listen app, your smart speaker, and on 774 AM.
This is ABC Radio Melbourne with Trevor Chappell.
You just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich. And he said, I come from a
You know how there are just lyrics that just make you smile when you hear them? He just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich from down under. So what are those lyrics that just make you smile?
Please turn left in 400 metres and follow the 26.
It could be because they struggled to be able to find a lyric that rhymes, so they just put something else in there. 1300 222 774. That's what we're looking at this afternoon. You are more than welcome to be able to join us musically this afternoon, because we do always have to choose a song. We have to vote on a song. And today, we're taking a look at the music of the Monkees and asking which one is their best one. I'm a Believer was written by Neil Diamond and recorded by the Monkees in 1966, with the lead vocals in this case by Mickey Dolenz. The single hit #1 in the US charts in December, remained there for 7 weeks. It was a #1 international hit in Australia, the UK, and so many countries all around the world.
Then I saw her face. 5 maps. Now from $37,990 drive away. There's a perfect Mazda waiting for you. Visit your local dealer and drive away today. Terms, conditions and exclusions apply. See Mazda.com.au for details.
Weather. Join Tony Moclair. Midday till 3 weekdays on 3AW.
A shower or two tomorrow, top of 19 after an overnight low of 12. Friday, cloudy, 17. Saturday, mostly sunny, 26. Sunday, shower or two, 29. Monday, partly cloudy, 19. Tuesday, cloudy, and a top of 19. It's 15 at Frankston. In the city, 17 degrees. Tony Tardio, Melbourne's own 3AW.
You're listening to Afternoons on Melbourne's 3AW. Thanks to Tyre Power. Buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Jumo passenger and SUV tyres.
Cheryl, you have a What's Happening for us. Good afternoon.
Hi, Tony. Yes, I do. I've just passed a massive accident. It's actually in Springvale Road between Canterbury Road and Whitehall Road, and they've closed the 3 lanes. The police, a lot of police there, and there are 2 fire brigades at the moment, but it's just happened, and there's a massive traffic bank up behind it.
Did you see any ambulances, Cheryl?
There was 1 ambulance coming in, yes.
Okay. Wow, that sounds bad enough to close down 3 lanes.
Well, it's gone right across the 3 lanes. It's a little blue car hit something really hard in the front and smashed the whole front in. And it's spread right across the 3 lanes, all the bits and pieces. So all that traffic, we were on the other side coming the other way, and the traffic's just horrendous now on that side.
Cheryl, we are going to follow that up. So accident, Springvale Road between Canterbury and Whitehorse Roads. Stay on the line, Cheryl. An Ergolife pillow for you from Beds for Backs, designed ergonomically to support your head, neck and shoulders from Beds for Backs.
On Afternoons, this is the news of the day with Lucy Loken.
Lucy Loken, 5AA Brekkie show producer and announcer. Good afternoon.
Hello, Tony. Throw in newsreader because I'm in the newsroom for the next few weeks. So there you go.
Give us your best newsreader voice, please.
It sounds just like this, but just with a little bit more emphasis.
And you've got to have a certain amount of gravity to your voice.
Yeah, I don't have that. I'm self-taught, so that's probably where the issue lies.
All right, catchphrase, you know, may your news be good news. That's the way it is. What's Lucy Loken's newsreader catchphrase?
I don't have one, but my all-time favourite one is from Bruce Almighty with Jim Carrey, where he says, "And that's the way the cookie crumbles."
You can borrow that. Just,
and he's standing there next to a giant cookie because that's what made news back in 20 years ago.
We have 133693. Can we please give Lucy Loken a newsreader sign-off? Well, just a trademark, signature, trademark. Get a dog up here, I think, has been taken, Lucy, so please don't use that one.
I like that one, though. I like that.
Can we get one for Lucy, please? 133693. The story you bring today is to somebody like me who is a bit of a history tragic, to think that, and I don't blame these people for doing it, but they were just a little too cavalier with a very precious bit of recording memorabilia. Am I right?
Yes, and you said you don't blame them, but you do, really, because I think anyone has a right to blame these people, a school who threw out a recording console that was used to record the Beatles' Abbey Road album. So the Beatles used this particular recording console back in the 1960s. The album was released in 1969. They then donated that recording console to a school, and the school eventually thought, well, we're not going to need this, so they put it in a skip bin.
It still boggles my mind that they did that. That there wasn't any note on it. P.S. This was used to record the Beatles' last album. Might be worth something. But
and it's a one-of-a-kind console, and you're right. No one had even noticed. It was found, but then it was just left unused for years. I mean, we're talking it would have been tossed out during the 1970s. It's amazing that it has now actually been restored. It's taken a while, but a man and his son have restored this one-of-a-kind console, thankfully, and they're going to auction it off, rightfully so.
According to what I read, Lucy, it was discovered by a guitarist who saw it and thought, some kind of something pierced that marijuana-induced haze that all guitarists spent the 1970s in, and he thought, hang on, that has got to be worth something. So he lifted it, thankfully, from a skip, and as you said, he's restored it. It's unique, and his son, who was also a musician, said the sound that he gets out of it is absolutely amazing. So it's going to go for a lot of money. But it does bring us to our question today, Lucy.
What have you found? Either in a bin someone's thrown out. So I was also thinking, which might be a bit more common or slightly more wacky items, what have you found in someone else's hard rubbish?
That's always a good one. Now, it's a favourite topic, especially on this station, and I know somebody will mention, because there's always somebody who wants to rain on the parade of people like me who love to get something off hard rubbish, that there is the potential threat of legal action due to a law called theft by finding.
You know, in my 5 years of law school, never heard of that.
There we go. I knew it was made
Therefore, is it real? Is it real?
I knew it was bunkum. Whenever we do hard rubbish in our neighbourhood, which happens about once a year, and it's always the expensive cars that prowl the neighbourhood, Lucy, looking for that bargain, that whatever it might be that's just been thrown out that could be of value. Have you noticed that?
I have, and I actually have a theory on it, in that the expensive cars, I'm not going to be a generalist and say in that scenario men are often the breadwinners and women don't need to work and have some different hobbies that require plenty of time, and I feel like if they're prowling the streets for a bargain, one of their hobbies with their wealthy cars might be to do up whatever they find in hard rubbish.
Nothing wrong with that. I reckon it's a brilliant pastime if you've got the
Not at
time
all.
and the inclination. 133-693, when is somebody's trash becoming your treasure? Have you found something at hard rubbish? Have you found something in a skip? 133-693. And can we please give newsreader Lucy Loken a sign-off? Gavin, you're helping out in that regard?
It has to be Ron Burgundy, Stay Classy, San Diego.
For all of us here at News Center 4, I'm Ron Burgundy. You stay classy, San Diego.
If I was to do it in my version, it would be, you stay classy, Adelaide.
That's Clubhouse leader Gavin. That is a very good suggestion. He's just one of the funniest men who has ever lived. That bloke. Thank you, Gavin. Is the name of the actor in Ron Burgundy again? Help me out here, Lucy.
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell. He is just read a phone book funny. Sarah, good afternoon.
Hello. I picked up some things off hard rubbish where I got a little set from Harrods. Still had its instruction manual in it, it has a key, the person helped me put it in the car, all beautiful, from purchased in the 80s from Harrods in London. Beautiful little set. And I also picked up about 30 LGs out of someone's hard rubbish from the 70s in mint condition, and went and knocked on the door and checked that it was okay, and they just said there's no need for LPs anymore, so they just threw them out.
More fool them.
Skyhook, Fleetwood Mac, everything from the 70s. Beautiful album.
Sarah, you did very well. I might hazard a guess and say that mobile phone was from the 70s as well. Not Sarah's fault. I'm not about blaming people. That is good. Harrods desk, if you don't mind. I mean, okay, when's the last time you did hard rubbish, Lucy? And how much thought did you put into what stays and what goes?
I have never done it. I've been with friends and helped them kind of clear out their houses, but I have never personally got rid of my own stuff with hard rubbish.
Hard rubbish means hard choices, let me tell you. Thank you again, Sarah.
It means I'm an order, Tony. That's what that means.
Singing to the choir. Denise, good afternoon.
Hi, at the local netball club in the rubbish bin for the 5-tier, they call them a pyramid Christmas tree from Germany. You can't buy them in Australia because they're so tall, and the girlfriend and I had the best fun just finding bits and pieces to do some repair work on it, And then we gave it to a German girlfriend of ours who had hers broken many, many years ago. But it was probably worth about $1,800.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you find it just after the festive season, like someone had just done a massive clean out and they decided it was January and didn't need it anymore?
No, it was about March and our netball season had just started, and I went to open the bin to put something in. I thought, oh, what's that? And Stan's probably about 1.2 metres tall.
What is a netball club doing with a German Christmas tree, Denise?
No, someone just uses our bins all the time. You know, people have too much and they just use the bins. But it was just like, wow, why don't you throw that out? And it was missing a little angel. We searched high and low for a little timber angel. We sent over to Germany for new blades for the top, because I don't know if you know, you light candles on the edge and it makes the windmill spin on the top, and that turns the nativity scene around.
Oh, that is...
They're magnificent things.
That is gorgeous. And yay you for giving it to a German French. Would have been over the moon. Thank you, Denise. Lucy Loken is my guest, 5AA Brekkie Show producer. We're taking your calls on hard rubbish items you have found, or a sign-off for Lucy, who is reading the news at the moment. Andrew, you've got a what's happening for us, though.
G'day, Tony. There's a 5 or 6 car nose to tail on East Link that's just happened. There's no emergency services on site, but I think it's happened because there's road work with the lane closed down, and there's some pretty severe damage on a few cars, but I don't know whether anyone's hurt or not. But traffic will probably bank up, I would imagine.
It most certainly will. Andrew, that's good to know that it doesn't look serious enough to have incapacitated anybody. Thank you. That's accident on East Link, just after Thompson's Road, 5-car nose to tail. And if Lucy Loken brought you that as the last item in her bulletin, she would use what sign-off?
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
You're going to have to get a new one. You know that, don't you? Nikki, good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon. Yes, we found it was around 2 dozen bottles of wine, and when we thought it was just all rubbish, and we just looked at it for fun. We were walking past and we thought, oh, let's have a look, and it was 2 dozen bottles of wine, including Hill of Grace, some Grange.
What?
There was the Grange was from 1984 to 1989, 6 bottles. There was some French wines, which I'm not very good on my French wines, and we kind of looked around and thought, is this a joke? You know, did someone put these out here as a joke? But we looked around and we even asked the next door neighbours, and they went, no, just take it. So we did.
I'm absolutely speechless. What?
I have no words. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous.
And you're saying that as a South Australian. You live near Penfolds, or you're closer to it than we are.
Yes, that's incredible. 1986 bottles of 1984 Grange plus Hill of Grace from Henschke. Oh, that's incredible.
What part of town were you in, Nikki?
Can I say Toorak?
That answers that question. Nikki, thank you, and well done on your find. I'm just trying to look up now how much a bottle of 1984 Grange would be worth, and I'm at the definitive price guide, which is very slowly right. I'll tell you what, we'll go to a break and I will come back and I will let you know the approximate value of Nikki's windfall. That is absolutely remarkable. Hang on, I can actually tell you now, $720 to $1,000 per bottle.
Oh.
Nice work if you can get it. 20 minutes past 1, 133 693. What have you found at Hard Rubbish? And Lucy Loken, newsreader, needs a sign-off catchphrase. Have you got one? 133 693.
Clarenvale Retirement Village. You're going to love living here, where you can connect with your community and share the good times with family and friends. Clarenvale Village in the heart of Chelsea gives you so much to live for less. With comfortable 2-bedroom villas starting from only $490,000, you'll enjoy a great location, community facilities, and an affordable lifestyle. Come home to Clarenvale Village. Arrange an inspection at clarenvalevillage.com.au.
I'll continue my chat with Lucy Loken from 5AA in a moment, talking about hard rubbish and catchphrases. But if you are moving house, we know it can be a daunting task. That is, unless you engage the White Glove Mover. They take care of everything. Not only do they do all the moving, they also do the packing, the cleaning, and then the unpacking. Have a listen to this magnificent review from a very happy customer named Eileen, who writes, "We have moved twice with the White Glove Mover, and it remains the best money I have ever spent. From the accommodating and helpful office staff, the fiercely efficient packers, to the kind, thoughtful, careful, and genuinely lovely removal crew, we've had the best experiences with this company. Can't recommend them enough, and will definitely use them again." End quote. So whether you're moving locally to the country or interstate, get the White Glove Mover to do it all so you don't have to lift a finger. Call them on 139448, or visit whiteglovemover.com.au.
All right, hold still.
This is the sound of an unnecessary bowl cut.
Whoa, wait! Check money plan. No need to trim the budget that much.
Phew.
There's better tools to help you budget, like Money Plan in the CommBank app. One of many simple tools from CommBank to help manage your money. And they just won CanStar's Bank of the Year award for Best Digital Banking for the 15th year in a row. Conditions apply when using the CommBank app.
The Spring Racing Carnival is here. All the fashion, the fillies, and the fantastic extra value you get with Unibet. Enjoy market-leading odds and promotions every weekend, like bonus back on selected Saturday races, best road exotics, easy form, and more. Eligible existing Unibet customers only. Terms and conditions apply. Bet now with the Unibet.
Entertainment were also quite interesting. We had Russell Crowe performing with his band there in early years. And yeah, there's been some wild things happen over the years, and that's always fun to look at.
But you know, the funny thing is when you compare it to the Brownlow Medal, which you associate footballers as being possibly that little bit wilder than cricketers, but you get the cricketers actually at the awards thing being that little bit wilder than the football players.
Yeah, it is unusual, isn't it? I'm not entirely sure why that is. I think maybe the cricketers have just got a habit of, especially in like the 70s and 80s, the tradition was, you play hard, then you have a lot of beers afterwards, and maybe that kind of thought pattern continues on.
Especially singing along with Cole Chisel.
Yes, that was the kind of infamous early moment when Michael Slater decided he'd get up on stage with Jimmy Barnes and join in singing K-San. That was kind of a interesting way to end an Australian Cricket Award.
But it's televised.
Yes, so, it was all live.
Well, didn't you stop and think whether or not that would be a good idea? But obviously not with a couple of wines.
No, apparently not, no.
Were there other moments that were highlights for you as far as when you recognised the event?
I think, perhaps the most famous moment was the induction Hall of Fame speech by Jeff Thompson, where he came and made this amazing speech that just almost perfectly skirted the boundaries of political correctness. Just teetering here and there. No, I'm fine. No, I'm not. And he basically, praised all kinds of things. Dropped a few crudities that were probably just okay to go through on TV. And everyone, it's Tomo. Everyone loves Tomo. So he got away with it, and it was very entertaining.
That was a bit of a thing of the times. Thankfully, things have changed a heck of a lot more now, and also with the recognition of women. What did you like about actually writing it? Because you love looking at cricket. It's not as if you don't like cricket. You love cricket.
I do love cricket. One of the fun things with this book is because it did only start in the year 2000. One of the things I decided to do was basically go back and calculate who would have won the Allan Border Medal and the Belinda Clark Award throughout history. So starting from 1877 with the very first test, I awarded the 3-2-1 points as they do for the official award. Tallied it up and worked out who would have won in every year, and then every few chapters I alternate and determine who was the player of the decade.
Do you love statistics?
I sadly, scarily, I have a degree in statistics. We try not to mention that anymore.
But what a great, wonderful way of actually combining statistics with history, and also being able to have a bit of fun with it as well.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun to go back and calculate those results. I mean, some of them, you would hope that most of the outcomes were predictable, or as you'd expect. If they're not, then that suggests there's something wrong with your model. But yes, I mean, no spoiler, I think, to say that Don Bradman won an awful lot of these awards.
Did you have memorable moments, as if there were awards for those people?
I did. Because it's kind of a little bit dry, just crunching the numbers. So yeah, I imagine what it would be like in each decade, what the ceremonies might have held. Yes, with all these characters of the past.
Look, it's a really clever idea to actually take a look at, like cricket and the history of cricket through something like the Allan Border Medal, and you've done it beautifully. Thank you for telling us a bit about it. The book by Dan Lipke is called Australian Cricket's Best of the Best, the outrageous, which it is, unofficial history of the Allan Border Medal. And it's funny, and it actually, but it's a nice combination of serious cricket as well, because there's serious stuff there as well as stuff that makes you laugh. Thanks again, Dan. Afternoons on 774 ABC Radio Melbourne. We're also taking a look at lyrics this afternoon, and those lyrics that have made you smile over a period of time, and you may not be sure why, but they just have. Michael joins us this afternoon. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Trevor.
What did you want to share with us, Michael?
Groovin' on a Sunday Afternoon by the Rascals.
I know the song well. What is it that makes you giggle?
It's the line, grooving on a Sunday afternoon, really couldn't get away too soon. I was up in the bush in Queensland working for a South African diamond company, and this was our afternoon off, Sunday afternoon, and that line came in the outback there, and it just rang with me, yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, because if it's a Sunday afternoon, you're having to work, the first thing you want to do is just to get away. This is Afternoons on 774 ABC Radio Melbourne. Really couldn't get away too soon. Haven't we all been there and thought exactly that? So what are those lyrics that have made you smile over the years? Is it because they couldn't work out a line? Is it because they couldn't work out a rhyme? Is it because Colin Hay was just trying to work something out?
I like swimming in the sea. I like to go out beyond the white river.
Paper, and they were not always respectable.
Right.
It was a very low-rent kind of newspaper that I would buy as an 18-year-old to gawk at. Yeah, well...
Gawk, eh?
You would gawk at it and make sure when your mother cleaned your room that it was safely tucked away. Anthony, good afternoon.
I'll quickly tell you what I found and the incredible story behind it, but I'm on the road all the time. I saw hard rubbish in Toorak. I went through this box. I found an 8mm camera in its case, original case, from the 60s. I found a box camera, and I found a 1945 typewriter in its resin case with its sleeve inside. And I thought, oh man, they put this out by mistake. So I knocked on the door and I said to the lady, I said, look, this stuff's out in the footpath. She goes, I just found out my husband of 50 years has another family on the other side of Melbourne. It's the stuff he keeps precious, so I'm giving it away.
Oh, whoa.
I was so happy that I found it. I didn't really care what happened to them. I just took the stuff and put it in the car. And got in the car, my wife goes, what's the story? You're not going to believe it. She just said to me, you're not going to believe it.
No, I reckon your wife would believe it. I really do. Anthony, thank you. Very quickly, Lucy, it reminds me of a story I read in a book once where a record collector had been having an affair. His wife found out and he was away from the house. This is 40 years ago. She put an ad in the paper offering his priceless record collection to anybody for £1.
Wow. Yep.
There you go. Tony, you have a sign off for Lucy.
Yes. Good afternoon. This has been Lucy with the latest.
I don't hate that. It's formal enough, but also casual enough.
Tony, you've got a future in this business. Thank you, Tony. And thank you, Lucy, and apologies to the many callers we couldn't get to. Much appreciated. Lucy, have a great week. We'll chat to you in 7 days' time.
Thanks, Tony, and that's the way the cookie falls. They changed it so I don't get plagiarised.
Legally, you've covered yourself beautifully, so breathe easy. Lucy Loken, 5AA Break show producer, announcer, and newsreader. We'll chat next week. Tony Tardio is here with news headlines.
Thank you, Tony. Good afternoon again. The boy killed in yesterday's horror crash at a primary school at Hawthorne East has been identified. 11-year-old Jack Davey died after a Toyota SUV crashed into the grounds of the Auburn South Primary School, injuring 4 other children who remain in hospital. Health Minister Mary-Ann Thomas has defended Victoria's response to the pandemic. A federal inquiry has found Victoria's approach to restrictions was haphazard, poorly explained, and without adequate consideration for mental health. The Albanese government says its economic plan is working as inflation comes down to its lowest level in 4 years. Consumer prices rose 2.8% for the year to September, now within the Reserve Bank's target range. But analysts are not convinced interest rates will fall until next year. And in sport, Hawthorn has signed a former rugby league player as a Category B rookie. Matt Hill will join the Hawks after a stint with the Melbourne Storm Academy. Tony, details at 2.
That hasn't gone well in the past. Although Carmichael Hunt, he kicked the winning goal in a tight match once.
I don't want to say Carmichael. Do you?
No.
Get the name mixed up. I always think about that when you're a newsreader, so you've got to worry about stuff like that.
I'm sure that keeps you awake at night. But you never have?
I dream about it, though.
Well, trust me, you want nightmares, try being a cartoonist at the Herald Sun. You are not going to believe this story. It didn't get enough publicity. Mark Knight is joining me next to talk about a star chamber he had to front up to for drawing a cartoon that met with displeasure by an anonymous person. The old anonymous complaint.
And it's only a cartoon, for goodness sake.
Well, you would think, if only that was the attitude of the adjudicators in front of whom he had to sit and justify his work. He doesn't have to, because the man's a genius, and he joins me next. Mark Knight, cartoonist. Really looking forward to this chat, and he will join me on the other side of it, 26 minutes to 2.
Traffic. Listen to Wide World of Sports. Weeknights from 6 on 3AW.
Hello, it's Caroline from Transport Victoria. There's been a collision on Eastlink, Frankston bound. The right lane's been closed off just after the Thompsons Road entry. Traffic's backing back quickly. Emergency services are on scene. Move safely into the left lane. Delays through Forest Hill, northbound on Springvale Road past Canterbury Road. And traffic lights will be temporarily switched off today at the intersection of Mount Dandenong Tourist and Leith Roads in Montrose for upgrade works. Follow directions of traffic management and expect some delays. Deb Knight here, and on Money News, we take a fresh look at the stories that impact you and your finances. So join me for Money News Monday to Thursday from 7 on 3AW.
The Weekend Break.
The topic that Tom came up with was unusual hobbies that you might have.
Peter Grubby Stubbs, your great friend on the Weekend Break.
Yes.
And he's designed his whole house. He's got a model railway or a train set that goes through every room in the house.
And you think that's unattractive?
Well, I just think it's a little bit strange.
Saturday and Sunday from midday.
Any truth out of Tom's mouth?
He called it a train set, and that was the greatest insult to a model railway person of all time. Enraged over that.
On 3AW 693. If you've seen Aldi's low prices, you may have thought they're having a sale, but they're not. And here's how you can tell. If there was a sale, there'd be a horn going, wee, 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 and I'd be shouting, it's a sale operation, as starbursts flash and confetti explodes. But there's no sale, just low prices every day at Aldi on everything from fancy stuff like Lacura neck firming cream to bread, milk and ankle grinders. Aldi, good different. Made in our city, by people from our city, for our city.
That is your news?
The news that matters to you.
9 News with Alicia Loxley and Thomas Steinford is your news. Luxury Escapes on 3AW, the world's best holidays.
Jodie Collins, the Tourism Board's Partnership Manager at Luxury Escapes, and today we're looking at Mexico. Los Cabos is only like a 2.5-hour flight from LA, so you get a lot of celebrities that head down there for weekends and beach escapes, because it's one of those beautiful places with amazing luxury resorts all along the cliff line, incredible food, beaches. Oh, fabulous. Can you give us some good deals then? The Viceroy in Los Cabos. We've got a deal there which is 3 nights from $2,516, and it's valued up to $3,000.